Hello there, everyone. I am Aaron St. Dennis, the FF Mad Scientist, and welcome back to the Mad Science Lab podcast. Today, we are continuing on with the Studs and Duds series, and here to do that is Ryan, Twitter handle at RyanPros_FF. Thank you for joining me, Ryan. It's great to have you. Nice to see you
Thanks for
back.
having me. Yeah, I'm just glad to be back. I had a lot of fun last time. Gonna have a lot of fun this time. I didn't get quite the topic last time, as we remember. Rookie tight ends, was it?
Yeah. I don't. You kind of drew a. You were one of the last ones to join, and I think you got
I
short.
drew the short straw on that one, but now
you know what?
it
You know
was
what?
fun. It was fun.
In the end, it didn't turn out as bad. The quarterbacks and the tight ends nobody wanted to do. They turned out to be the most fun. The wide receivers and the running backs, everyone was like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 over and over. Like the tight ends, it was like, oh, that guy's fucking terrible, or that guy's great. So
not afraid of putting the F tier around here, you know?
They weren't, they weren't as cookie cutter. So I said my personal favorites were the tight end ones because they were the most enjoyable. Really made me realize how many shitty tight ends and quarterbacks are in this league. But before we get into it, you want to take a second here and tell everyone where they can find your work.
Yeah. You can find me at RyanPros_FF. I'm getting my own at wrong. It's a Monday. Bear with me, but
looks like someone's got a case of the Mondays.
I got a case of the huge Mondays. We could talk about it later, but yeah, you can find me at League Winners. I need to start right. I'm going to start my series soon about players who I like more than consensus, and I'm going to debate with myself. So
that's the best debate. And then I realize I'm debating an idiot.
Yeah, I'm going to realize the same thing once I'm halfway through the first article. So.
Yeah. Oh man, this article's terrible. What idiot wrote this? Oh, that's my name. Damn it.
And I'm like, I don't really like that. Then I'll write the other side, be like, that dude's a genius. Like,
I've done that before where I had some of these rookie draft profiles. I write for 4 companies and I wrote some of the rookie profiles, some of them one player from multiple sites, others. So I'll come up on a profile. I think there was one the other night on DLF and I'm reading through it and I was like, oh, I don't agree with this at all. What is going on? I'm like, what was I thinking when I wrote this? And I realized after it wasn't even mine. I wrote that player for another site. So I was like, did I have a stroke that day? What was going on? And I've had other times where I'm reading through it and I'm going, that's an interesting take. I wonder why he feels that way. And I look through it. I'm like, oh, this says it was written by me. So I should know why I feel that way. So it's amazing, especially with the rookie class, how quickly your takes can change. So, don't feel bad about the intro. I've done about 6 of these today, and I consider it a winning podcast if I can get through my own name without screwing up.
I struggle with that. You just saw me struggle with that.
Yeah, if I cannot screw up your name and my own podcast name, then it's a total win.
It's a W, yeah.
Yeah, it's a house money. Or, the best is when I talk myself in a complete circle. This is Aaron. Welcome to the Mad Science Lab. This is Aaron. And it's like, oh, shit, I said that already. Yeah. Some of those days are rough. It's a holiday weekend.
There's fire. I don't know if you can hear the fireworks. There's fireworks going off outside.
See, everyone keeps, I think I've had 5 people after these podcasts say happy 4th of July. And then I'm like, I got to work tomorrow, man. I'm Canadian. We don't do that over here.
I'm not even Canadian. I have to work tomorrow. So
yeah. So all right. Well, let's get right into it. For one of the first times, we have almost a conflict here with me. There are very few players I am attached to in football. Football was not my first sport. I'm a hockey and baseball guy, but I am at my heart a Saints and Lions fan. I don't really care for any of the current Saints or Lions, but I have a soft spot for Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. After Drew Brees has left, they are the only players I currently have jerseys for. I'm going to pretend like the Taysom Hill jersey hanging in the closet next to me doesn't exist. So I may be a little biased on this one. I get there's a lot of things to worry about with him, but he's still always someone I take, in the later rounds just because I think I want to will him to one more relevant season. So he finished as RB16 last year, 897 rushing yards, 490 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns, 210.7 full PPR points, good for 13.17 per game. Current Fantasy Pros ADP is 97 overall. On NFFC, which seems to be a little more reliable, he is 100 overall, RB 32. So half the price of where he finished last year. He is your stud, I believe.
Yeah, he's one of them. Yeah, one of the two. Obviously, I mean, I think he's the best value in fantasy right now. If I'm being honest with you, like this is what I believe. Like RB16 is going as RB 32, 33 on underdog, I believe.
Yeah.
Come on, he's gonna have one more relevant season. I mean, he's got a quarterback upgrade. The offense was lower tier with Andy Dalton last year. It's better now with Derek Carr. I mean, I looked at the check down percentage. It went down a little bit. I think Andy Dalton was top 5, maybe 6. Derek Carr was 11. So like a little downgrade there, but 4 touchdowns. You're telling me Alvin Kamara is only going to score 4 touchdowns next year? There's no way. There's no way. I mean, I know they added Jamal Williams and he led the league in touchdowns last year, so sure, maybe like could be true. I think Kendre Miller might get the red shirt. I haven't heard many updates on him, but I think it's that conflict that's leading to such the discount, and plus, the legal situation that's ongoing. But I've heard people, what's his name, the lawyer, is it Drew Davenport?
Drew Davenport. He was on my show a couple weeks ago. He doesn't seem to think this will be resolved this season.
No, I trust him. And what does Alvin Kamara need to crush that ADP? He needs to play. That's it.
But I was just saying, okay, so he's RB 32 after finishing RB 16. At RB 32, he could be suspended 8 games and still beat RB 32. I don't see how it's possible unless they assume he is. If your assumption is he misses 8 games due to suspension and comes back and loses his job to Jamal Williams and Kendre Miller, then okay, he's not going to beat it. But what are the odds all that happens? I think you're right. I think it's like I love Kendre Miller, but I think it's more likely Kendre Miller is basically redshirted this year than it is that he takes the job from Kamara. But I don't know. I can't see a way he doesn't finish as a top, above RB 32. It's just not possible.
I have him around like 16, 17 for redraft. Like I think he's going to finish the same spot, but he's going to do better. And I think the quality of RBs with Jahmyr Gibbs, who we're going to talk about later, and Bijan Robinson goes up. So I think he finishes at least there, maybe even higher. I mean, he's not his old self. Like 2020, he was first in yards per touch, yards created per touch, which is probably an efficiency metric with elusiveness. Of course, he went down to 23, but he went back up to 15. So like,
but I mean, look at this range: Cook, Madison, Dillon, Kamara, Robinson, Brian, obviously, Khalil Herbert, and Jamal Williams. There's no way if I'm in a spot where I have to take a running back in the 90 to 100, like late 90s, early 100s, there's no way Kamara's not the guy I'm taking out of here. This group is disgusting. Why he is
even
so
the
low,
group,
I don't know.
Even the group above it.
Yeah.
I think he outscores all of those guys. I don't even know why Javante's up there. I don't know how much he's going to play this year.
That's a whole other debate. But
that's another debate. But I would take him above anyone in the group above. I think
go ahead.
Miles Sanders, Cam Akers is when it starts becoming a discussion.
That's what I said right here. I love this range of Dobbins. He's moved up. It was Dobbins, Akers, Sanders. I love them. I don't love here. I think Kamara should be up in this range a bit. Honestly, now that you bring up Javonte, I think Javonte misses more games this year than Kamara. So I don't see how that's possible that he's being drafted. I think Kamara, Connor, I find are very similar, and I own a lot of both of them because I think they're both criminally undervalued right now.
So do I. I think Kamara has the better offense, but Connor's going to get all the volume. So like, he would have made my studs list too, but like, it's such a great value.
Your next stud has no stat line because he is Detroit rookie Jahmyr Gibbs. Obviously didn't play last year. Currently 36 overall, according to Fantasy Pros. I assume he's not that high on NFFC. They seem to be a little sharper. 43 overall as opposed to 36. Good for RB. What the heck is he? RB 15. What are your thoughts?
Oh my gosh. I want to put this out here. I think Jahmyr Gibbs could finish as a top 5 back this season. I think he's that good. All he has is David Montgomery to compete with. And we could just end the conversation right at draft capital, right? They were willing to take Jahmyr Gibbs over Bijan Robinson. They made that known. Like,
yeah, they did. What, take him first round? Not only first round draft capital. Where did he go? 12 overall.
12. He got 12. Upper half of the first capital, and like he's limited wear. He's an excellent profile for PPR leagues. He led Bama in receptions, and I know that's not like the feat it normally is because there was no alpha wide receiver like Devontae Smith there, no Jameson Williams even. So it's not as impressive, but still it's nice. And honestly, at RB15, like every all day. I told you before the show, he's my most exposed player to in best ball across Underdog and DraftKings. I looked at both sites, and he's the top on both. So
I have a lot of shares of him because I think I said this to you earlier. I have a lot of shares of Jacobs up here. I have a little bit of Chubb and Henry, but once I get to the end of the second, this range here, I avoid and I go to wide receiver. So when we get to the third round, I avoid Pollard, Najee, Stevenson, Brees Hall, ETN. Well, not so much ETN, but this group of Pollard, Najee, Stevenson, and Hall. Hall because I'm worried about the injuries. Mm-hmm. I typically will just wait. I will wait a round. I'll take a receiver in this round, skipping these 4, and then I will target whoever falls out of ETN, Walker, Gibbs, and then I will try and double back down with a Dobbins, Akers, Swift, in that range. These 6 of ETN, Walker, Gibbs, Dobbins, Akers, Sanders. I love hammering that little 6-pack there in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, sometimes even later. I just think they're all great value. So for me, like I said, he falls in that range where he's one of the guys I'm waiting on, and he seems to fall to me. I own a lot of him in rookie drafts. I took a lot of them, but I haven't had him that many times. I find he's all over the place. Sometimes he falls. Sometimes he goes way, way up there, like second, like middle to the end of the second. So his ADP I find is kind of unreliable, but I'm definitely a fan.
I was drafting Underdog had this contest called the Big Board. So it was before the rookies got drafted. And oh my gosh, I got to find where I was drafting Jahmyr Gibbs. I think I was drafting Jahmyr Gibbs in like the 6th round.
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah, no, it's round 3 now, but oh my gosh, it was I miss it.
Well, let's move on to your first dud. We have Green Bay receiver Christian Watson, wide receiver 41, obviously struggled with some injuries, so he only played basically half a season. 182 rushing yards, which is nice. 611 receiving yards, not so nice. Somehow managed 9 receiving touchdowns. No, total touchdowns. I think it was 7 receiving, 2 on the ground, which leads me to believe there's going to be some regression in store. 164.5 full PPR points, good for 11.72 per game. ADP of 62 overall, according to Fantasy Pros. Let's bring him up on NFFC. He's going higher than I would like, I'm sure. He is 56 overall, wide receiver 27, in that previously mentioned range of Lockett, Deontay, Ayuk, DJ Moore, just a group of guys I'd rather have over him. I just don't like the ADP here. I lost him on my screen. Oh, there he is. I don't like the ADP. I don't like the quarterback change. I get that they don't necessarily have a stud, like there's no Cooper Kupp, but there's a Dobbs, there's a Jaden Reed, there's a whole basket full of tight ends they just drafted. There's a pass-catching running back. There's A.J. Dillon. I'm not taking him at 56 overall, and I'm also not taking him even at 62 overall. What are your thoughts on Watson?
I mean, I agree with you. You also forgot the 2 tight ends that they drafted this year. So
no, that's what I said. I said they drafted a whole basket full of tight ends.
Oh, I missed that. The fireworks are going off behind
Musgrave me. And
Tyler Croft, right?
Tyler Kraft. Yeah.
I'm thinking of someone else.
Tucker Kraft, not Tyler Croft.
I'm thinking I got confused the 2. That's my bad.
You're thinking, Tucker Kraft.
Tucker Kraft. I was thinking of Tyler Croft.
Yeah, okay. We've gone right off the rails here. I don't even know.
We are so off the rails. But yeah, I mean, the QB change, just everything. I mean, Christian Watson has already defied my expectations. I remember fantasy Twitter when he came out as a draft prospect. Oh my gosh, we were just crushing this man for his drop percentage, and like sure, he had his drops in his rookie year, but he definitely outperformed expectations, and he had his breakout game against the Dallas Cowboys. He had 107 yards on 4 catches, and 3 of them were for touchdowns. Like, come on, man, that's ridiculous.
That's sustainable.
Oh, it's obviously sustainable. Like, it's one of those things where he's defied my expectations. I think he's going to be good, but I'm staying away from him because, like, it's so unpredictable with everything that's going on in Green Bay. We don't know if Jordan Love's even good at this point. Like, it feels like a risk, and you said it best with the range.
Yeah,
where he's at 27 right
see
there.
It right there, yeah, right there.
You see Deontay behind him. You already said that. Ayuk, Tyler Lockett's a consistent offense. Mike Williams.
Well, McLaurin's in there somewhere too. Yeah, there he is, 24. So I got to take McLaurin essentially the same round, 2-3 picks earlier. Yep, I'll take even Drake London if we're going rookies. I'll take Drake London over him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you trust the efficiency numbers for Drake London and hope Desmond Ridder plays better. Like,
is that scary? I'm willing to trust Desmond Ridder over Jordan Love. Ugh. I was going to say it's the difference in quarterback, and then I heard myself go, wait, does that mean I'm trusting Desmond Ridder? Ugh.
I'll take if a quarterback plays a tiebreaker, I'll take the better prospect and the guy with the better, efficiency numbers and all that stuff. Like, Drake London, I forget what his target share was. It was insane last year. Like,
yeah, it was. I think it was 27%.
If you come in and alpha the great, or what we think is the greatest tight end prospect of all time, like, yeah,
exactly.
Like,
I see. I was not in from the beginning. I wasn't high on this profile. I thought it was a huge boomer bust profile. And I get that everyone thinks that it was a hit year one, so we're just going to buy in. It was kind of a George Pickens. I was higher on Pickens. I thought they both had a huge range of outcomes. They could both be a huge stud or a huge dud. See, I think after year one, everyone's decided Watson's going to be the hit and Pickens is the miss. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think I'd rather have Pickens. Personally, I think they're both probably duds or misses, but I don't know. I don't hate either. I don't like them as much as consensus, I think. I'm definitely not liking them that much.
No, I think Pickens is a toss-up for me at that point, but, like, it still feels a little expensive, and, like, it's the offense. So, it's the offense he's in.
We will end it here by taking a dump on the king. We have Tennessee running back Derrick Henry, RB4 last year. 1,538 rushing yards, 398 receiving. I feel like that's probably a career high. 13 touchdowns, 323.26 full PPR points. Good for 18.86 per game. Current Fantasy Pros ADP is 20 overall. On NFFC, he was just up on our board. Wide receiver 8, 23 overall. Again, he's probably the beginning of that range where I'm not taking a running back. I do have a few shares of him in startups, but only because in dynasty startups, he's so old and injury prone that he's falling to like the 6th and 7th round. At the 6th and 7th round price, I will take Derrick Henry and just be a win now. In redraft, in the 2nd round, I'm not sure I want to take the risk anymore. What are your thoughts?
I mean, where to start? Do we start with how bad the Tennessee offense is projected to be, or do we start with Father Time is undefeated? Like, there's two angles you could take here, because, like, Brian Tannehill's not the greatest. We know this. Will Levis fell a ton on draft day, and, outside of Treylon Burks, who do you have to cover on this offense besides Chig at tight end? Like, really? Like,
and Chig's a part-time player for the most part.
Exactly. Like, who else is on? Is Nick Westbrook-Akine still here? I think that's the wide receiver too. If I'm not mistaken.
I had this in the episode earlier with Heath. I think Heath also had Derrick Henry on his dead list, and that's what he was saying. It's Okonkwo, and then the receiving trio is Burks, Westbrook-Akine, and Kyle Phillips. So he kind of made the same point as you.
I mean, I'm in on Treylon Burks, but, like, it might take a year or two. But it's one of those things where Father Time is undefeated. This offense is going to be terrible. Taylor Lewan's not on the team anymore. Like, it's just all the arrows pointing down, and he still carries around 2 ADP. Like,
did I bring that up yet? No, I didn't.
And he'll still probably crush ADP, knowing that I'm just talking down on him right now. Like,
yeah, it's one of those where I think we said this earlier too. It's one where you figure there's no way he can match this ADP, and then he'll crush this ADP, and we'll all just go, well, shit, we were wrong.
Well, he finishes the same as last year. Well, sucks for us. Like,
yeah, RB8 right now, 23 overall, but so, I don't know.
On that offense, I can't do it.
It's really scary. It's even scarier for a non-pass catching running back should Ryan Tannehill's days be done and this switches over to a Will Levis-led offense. Then I'm even more scared. Like, you would think that would benefit him because a rookie's going to check down, but he's not exactly a pass catching back. So I don't know how that plays out. I don't know how any of this plays out. But at RB8 in the second round, I think I'd rather take someone with a little more safety.
I'm taking Tony Pollard like 10 times out of 10 in that scenario. Like,
I think I'm passing and going receiver.
I'll go receiver,
but
taking
a quarterback.
If you're giving me the option of the same position, I'll just go one down and take Tony Pollard all day.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that's a wrap. You want to tell everyone where they can find you one more time?
Yeah, I could get it right this time, you know?
Hey, well, I don't know. You haven't gotten it right yet. So just
you can find me at
don't Ryan celebrate Pros. Till it's done.
You can follow me at RyanPros_FF. I got it this time. And you can find my work at League Winners. I'm going to be starting up soon where I'm going to be debating myself and probably calling myself an idiot halfway through the article. So
it's only halfway.
It's only halfway, and I'll call myself a genius for the second half.
I'm glad you got your Twitter handle correct. I had a buddy Mike on here. He's been on a few times, and he had to change his Twitter handle because neither of us could get through it without screwing it up. It was like Mike_Cash FF_LWOS. Anyways, neither of us could get it, so he just shortened it to Mike Cash. So I said, fuck it, enough of that. But you got it right the second time, so
1 for 2.
Better late than never. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. This has been Studs and Duds with Ryan Pros_FF. See, I can get it right too.
One time.
Yeah, one time. Now, if I can get my own name right, my name is Aaron St. Dennis. Oh, I screwed up my hashtag or my Twitter handle.
No, you didn't start. Doesn't count.
Yeah, well, okay, I forgot.
You thought it, and then it didn't come out.
It's on the screen in front of me, and I still couldn't remember that I am at the FF Met. Now I screwed it up. Now you're FF Mad Scientist. See, you couldn't get your name right to start the show, and I can't get my Twitter handle right to end it. So anyways, let's pretend I know my name and his name, and this is the Mad Science Lab podcast. Thanks again to Ryan for playing the name game here with me and enjoying. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and have a good night, and hopefully you know your names better than we do.
Oh, yeah.
Take care, guys.